Did somebody say nerds?
Not that I know.
Oh, okay. Except there's some. So, bro, are you the best a man can be?
Hmm.
Hmm?
Maybe. I have room for improvement, so no.
Oh. Oh, well, Kami accepted my friend request on Steam. When did that happen? Probably like weeks ago. I just noticed.
You wanna wait and see if Justin shows up before we delve into Gillette talk?
Probably. Give it like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You might be surprised on what my position is on it, but maybe not. What's up, man? How's life?
Well, I've been researching computer parts because Elijah had his birthday, and he's basically they were like, "What do we get him?" He's like, he got a shitload of stuff he doesn't need for Christmas, all like the fun, stupid shit. I was like, for his birthday, what he really needs is, better computer parts because he's. I fit together a gaming computer out of the old stuff I had lying around. Like, there's nothing wrong with his graphics card. The 970 is just
shit.
fine. But he's got that shit CPU,
Yeah.
and he's still on really old RAM back from like a pre-built HP that I had.
Talking about, I was talking about his Pentium today.
Oh yeah, the G2538 or something like that.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, they still make Pentiums, and Ricky was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, but
I saw another one actually. I saw something else that they're calling Pentium.
yeah, there's another word, I forget what they called it, but but we basically asserted, we're like, yeah, it's not Pentium though. It's really it's
Yeah.
it's not the Pentium architecture. It's still like
Right. But it is like it was a really cheap like dual core. Like it's still like not very impressive even though it's a modern day.
yeah, they said it's the like budget one.
It was the first processor I bought specifically because Linus Tech Tips, he was like, "Yeah, it's like less than $100 and you can overclock it." and like I said, I was running Shadow of Mordor, no problem on it. So I was pretty happy with it. And then obviously I upgraded when I got more serious about it. And I bought like a nice i5. And so I'd like to get him a better processor, but he's on the old like 1150 sockets, and he's on like a budget motherboard as well. I was like, what would be better is if I just buy parts for me, because I'm still on like DDR3 RAM, which it's not a big deal, but I was like, he could just take my stuff, and I could get an upgrade, basically. Like him having the parts in my computer, he could take my processor and my RAM and my motherboard and be like set, and this lets me kind of do an upgrade. So that's what we're doing. I've been shopping around for motherboards and shit today. My Micro Center's got a sale on the i7 8700, which is a Coffee Lake.
Yeah, it's the latest gen, I think.
Yeah, it came out like last year, so I was like, that looks good to me. It's like $70 off. I was like, fuck, I gotta jump on that.
I know it by ME Branch. ME Branch 12.0. The Haswell that your brother has, the Pentium, that one should be ME 9.1. Maybe they call it 9.2 now? Whatever, it's the 9.0 branch.
So I'm excited because I'll have a motherboard that can fit an M.2 SSD. Not that I'm going to get one anytime soon, but it'll be nice to have the option now.
Yeah, M.2 is nice. That's what I got.
Yeah, you know, I'm spending the money now so that I can spend the money on that at some point in the future. I might get an M.2. But I gotta get new RAM.
You gotta get that AEP business going on now. You gotta save up for that.
What is that?
Hard drive in your RAM.
Oh boy.
It costs so much.
I bet.
It's not even out yet. They're still trying to get stuff situated on it.
But yeah, so I'll be I'm getting like a combo deal. I'm getting like $30 off by buying the motherboard and processor. So like the motherboard and processor are both on sale right now. The motherboard's like $20 off, the processor's $70 off, and then if you buy a compatible motherboard and processor at the same time, you get another $30 off your total order.
Huh.
So I'm getting like a lot of savings there, and I'll be able to pick it up right away.
Yeah, that's a pretty good savings.
And then I'm getting my RAM through Amazon though, because it was like a lot cheaper. So once that gets here, I'll put it together and then give Elijah all my give him a second round of hand-me-downs, but this one's like a lot better.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna be getting like a $250 i5 that I'm using
Ah,
now.
shit.
He's gonna be getting my motherboard.
Oh.
And I'm really hoping that it fixes whatever fucking issue he's got right now. I still haven't solved that.
Did you try to look in Event Viewer to see if it said anything?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I try to look in Event
forgot
Viewer
about
to
that.
see if there's an error occurring every time it does that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But when I plugged in his GPU into my motherboard, it worked fine. So, you know, my motherboard and my processor, I'm hopefully
Yeah,
not just giving him all that shit. Hopefully that'll be.
It could be some like hardware compatibility thing happening right now. Something borked on it,
But I
and
guess
now
if
they're not
it's
syncing or something.
firmware, then that's not going to do me any good, is it?
Well, if it's firmware related, you can just update the VBIOS on the graphics card, and you'll be good. So maybe you try to look into upgrading the VBIOS. Can consumers do that? I don't know. I do it at work, but I don't know if that's a consumer thing. Should be, I assume. But otherwise, if it's not firmware related, then it's like gonna be hardware related, and that's where you're gonna have a problem. Because while it may have worked fine before, you know, something could be borked in it, right? And now it's some component went out, and then now it's just fucking up all the time because of compatibility issues.
The only thing that will be the same will be his hard drive.
Oh fuck!
Yeah.
Between the builds.
Yeah, I'm gonna be giving him my motherboard, CPU, and RAM.
Yeah.
And when I plugged his GPU into those, it worked. I don't know, it's one big headache, and I really hope that this fixes it.
Yeah, that's a hard one to see, because if Event Viewer doesn't say anything, then really, like, I'm out of ideas, unless you can try to upgrade the VBIOS.
The only way I'll be able to get to Event Viewer, I guess, is to boot into safe mode. Because it gets borked, like, right when Windows launches. I don't really want to worry about it. I'll figure that out.
Yeah. What it seems like, from what I remember on your video too, it seemed like the sys tray came back before the desktop background,
Yeah.
which could be, which also could indicate that Explorer could be crashing. So that's why it's like Event Viewer might tell you if there's a bug in the hardware. It could tell you there's a bug in, you know, the OS. There's like an error happening every single time. Or even a warning. You can see if there's warnings every single time. Ooh. I'm back, I got it. Ooh, murdered. Oh, get it.
Yeah, my brain's a little fried right now because I've been researching all that stuff. They have like an i5 9600 that's only $230, but it's 6 threads, and this i7 is 12 threads. It's also more money though. I've been weighing the budget and shit.
9600?
Yeah, the
Yeah, I guess
i5 is a 9600.
Yeah, I guess that's Coffee Lake then.
Yeah, it's Coffee Lake, because that's all of our Micro Center has.
Yeah, I just haven't like seen the consumer like numbers for it yet, because the only ones I had at my desk were prototype CPUs.
And it's not that I wasn't strict about it having to be Coffee Lake, but the older ones are harder to find and more expensive for like less juice. Shit.
Yeah.
Because I guess because they're not making them now, they're like harder to find.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was like, well, shit. I guess I might as well just go with the latest stuff then.
Coffee Lake's been out for a little while, so.
The i7 was released like last year, and the i5 was released this year. Oh shit! It was 2017's actually more than last year, but still. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
nice.
basic.
Yeah, because I've had a Coffee Lake computer sitting at my desk for a little while now.
And it felt like a waste to buy Elijah an expensive 1150 socket CPU, because it's not going to be Coffee Lake.
Yeah.
It was like, why spend a bunch of money getting him one of those when he can just have mine and I can get an actual upgrade? Yeah, he's mostly playing like... He's not... Like, Subnautica might be the toughest game he plays on his computer.
That was a lot more hard drive intensive than a lot of things. If you go way too fast in that game, it used to like not load stuff. I don't know if they fixed that now. But I was watching Vinesauce play it, and yeah, he was going real fast in one of the submarines, and all of a sudden the environment loads and he's inside of a wall. And he's like, oh god, like halfway inside and halfway out, so it was like killing his submarine. He was continuously taking collision damage.
I ran into a lot of bugs, nothing quite like that, but it was still a bit buggy when I played it. The point is that if I can run Monster Hunter at 60 frames a second, you know, that's like the most demanding game I play. So he'll be just fine using my teammate. He'll be just fine with my processor and RAM.
Ooh.
That'll be an upgrade for him and an upgrade for me. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Boost. Teammates all over, bro. Yeah, I don't even have Coffee Lake. I got I think a Cabby Lake in this bad boy.
One of them's Devil's Canyon or something? Does that sound familiar?
No, that doesn't sound familiar. I don't know what that is.
I'm trying to remember what mine is.
Maybe that's the PCH? Or maybe that's some. Oh no. Maybe that's something before I started working on stuff? Because. Yeah. Well, look at it. Look it up. Update, what does that say? Progressive. That's fine.
Yeah, mine is Devil's Canyon, the one I'm using right now. Oh shit! Oh, if he had gotten that, we'd be going to overtime.
Oh yeah, that's before. That's before I was working on stuff. The Gen 4.
So that's what I'm rocking right now. And you know, I don't want to drop $250, $300 on another one from that long ago for Elijah. You know, if we're gonna spend $250, I might as well get a Coffee Lake instead of as the same amount of money. Might as well get a newer one.
Yeah. That was like right after Sandy Bridge and Ivy Bridge and something. Yeah, that's before, way before my time. Way before, back in my day. That was before my day. You're running your computer on a radio, son, bro. My old computer before my current one, I had a Gen 2. And it was so bad. I think my laptop down there is Gen 3, my gaming laptop. So
This has been a great processor for me. It's never been the bottleneck in my system, and it's the K version, so you know I can overclock it if I want.
yeah.
Which I was planning on doing when Monster Hunter came out. I was like, it's probably about time for me to overclock this thing. But I just haven't gotten around to doing it. And now I'll just be getting a new one, so. I'm trying to decide if I want to spend the extra $30 to get the overclocked version of this one. I'm already kind of stretching my budget farther than I want to get the i7, but then again, $30 just to have the ability to overclock in the future if I want to.
You have Win 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I missed. Fuck it.
Because I'm not gonna need to overclock it anytime soon. It'll be just fine the way it is. Like I said, I'm already stretching my budget farther than I wanted to. So it's not just another 30, like I'm already a little over 50 more than where I wanted to be on this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really tempting AMD processors as well.
Yeah, AMD's alright.
I've
Oh,
always
he ran into me.
I've always kind of ignored AMD, but that was one of the things I was looking at, is how everyone was saying that the 2700 was comparable.
They got a lot of threads.
A little bit cheaper.
They seem to be winning the consumer thread game.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, guy's probably swearing at himself like mad. Oh, damn. Can't set up an easier shot than that.
I thought it was real fast.
It was I was pretty far away, so I could...
That was nice. we've been playing pretty well, seeing as I haven't been 100% focused.
Yeah.
I've been watching benchmarks for like the last 2 hours.
Yeah,
Man, people get so shitty about this kind of stuff. Oh, you Intel cucks, you know, sucking down there. Thank God we got AMD here to keep them from being a monopoly, and then other people like, what kind of moron would buy, you know, the 2700 when the i7 has the, you know, this system's got better power consumption. And just like, it's like you're an idiot if you don't buy whatever product they bought. You know, it's not just about trying to get value for your money.
They get in these camps. It's
Yeah.
when there was a lot of people. There was a few people I knew that. Oh, what? My controller vibrated and you touched it, but it was so it probably grazed it. Phantom hit. Oh, damn it. Yeah, there was these people I knew that, like, people. Okay, so people like want like the best of the best, right, for computer shit. If they're the nerds, and they think whatever blank thing is the best for some reason. Their camp is the best. They did all this research. It's all it was a little high. They think that their doohickey's the best, and like there was people that would ask me to recommend them a computer. Like, hey, can you recommend me a computer? I was like, sure, and I would ask them like, what do you need, and all this stuff. And then I know these nerd people at the time, and they were just like, oh, why? They're like, oh yeah, no, get like an i7, and like you'd probably need whatever the equivalent of the 1080 is at the time. I'm like, dude, this person is trying to do word processing. Like, you don't need this crazy ass build.
Yeah.
Like just fucking. There's a $300 laptop at the store. Buy that thing. I'll tell you what the best bang for your. I'm not gonna go into benchmarks, right? But I'll tell you what your best bang for your buck is. But yeah, like the camps, even with thermal paste application, people fucking get nuts. That was the one video I watched. This guy applied it in like many different ways. He applied a little bit too little. He applied way too much. He applied, like, I think uneven, and then like normal. And they all did fine. The one that had a little bit too little got a little bit hotter. Not by much. Obviously, over time, that's not going to be good. But the one that had...
It's not what you want, but it's not a big deal either.
Yeah, the one that had too much was just fine. Like, people would always be like, that's too much. Like, obviously, you don't want to douse your thing in it, and some thermal pastes are conductive, so when it overflows on the side...
Out. Yeah, you don't want it leaking onto the motherboard for sure.
But there's a lot of pressure in between your heatsink and the processor. There's a lot of pressure. So it squeezes that shit out. And people don't understand that crap. When I'm at work, man, we don't have like, we don't have a set pattern of put the thing on. We just goop shit on there, man.
Yeah. You guys aren't going to be like leaving it in there for 6 months or, you know, for like a year as you do your gaming every night kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Doesn't
we do.
have to be perfect.
We do long-term stability testing.
All right, fair enough.
But other than that, like, it's just
If you guys are off by a couple degrees, it's not the end of the world for you.
yeah. And
Whereas I would actually care on mine. Like I want to at least strive to make it, you know, the best I can get.
it wasn't even within a couple of. It wasn't even within a couple degrees. It was within the degree for
That's
most of
crazy.
these. Yeah.
That's basically like, that's one of those like, it's too close to even really say that it's having an effect
Yeah.
necessarily, or just like there's too many variables of like the testing and like the environment and shit.
Yeah, you could put your computer in a 1 degree hotter room.
Yeah,
Like, it's not that big of a deal.
if it's not even like more than a full degree, then yeah, that's negligible. Might as well be the same.
Yeah, he basically said, like, this is this stuff. Quit getting on my ass for it. It doesn't matter that much.
It's funny though. You see a lot of posts on like r/gaming, where it's like I gotta go out and get the new what's the new cards, like the 2080 I think, or something like that,
Yeah.
so that I can play Stardew Valley even on even higher FPS.
Yeah.
There's like there's so many people that like are dying for the latest and greatest and best, but then they end up not playing any game that actually pushes it.
Yeah, they need Stardew Valley at 2,000 FPS now instead of
Yeah.
1,000 on their 144 hertz monitor.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not even going to max that out.
It's funny though, because you mentioned people have their camps, and a lot of the vitriol was Intel versus AMD, much like console fanboyism. But there was even stuff just between like i5 and i7. There were people getting shitty.
Yeah.
Even within Intel, or even within like generations. It was like, what kind of asshole's dumb enough to pay the extra money for the 9th generation when 8th generation is just as good or better? And it was like, God, calm the fuck down. I'm just trying to find out what I should get, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not here for a war.
And you know what? While I want to get the best I can get, like, if I'm not getting the exact best, you know, like the
Yeah.
the most min-max thing, then so be it. It's still gonna be good. Like,
Yeah, I want to stretch my dollar to get like the best performance I can and everything, obviously. But at the end of the day, it's not worth like name calling and shit.
yeah.
This isn't something that serious. It's like maybe I end up with a product that's like 5 to 10% better or worse in certain cases.
Yeah, exactly.
That is not going to be that big a deal.
Or certain games too. Like,
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff like I'm trying to decide between the i5 96 and the i7 8700. So it's like 8th gen versus 9th gen, i5 versus i7. So they've kind of got their pros and cons. And in Far Cry, the i5 was like actually kind of awful and was like had these like frame hiccups and stuff. So I was like, well, all right, I guess I'll just go with the i7 and be done with it, even though it's more expensive. You know, I don't want those kind of frame hiccups. But then they were showing like Assassin's Creed, and the i5 was better, and I was like, shit. Like it was better by like 10 to 20 frames per second. I was like, wow, that's a pretty significant advantage in that particular game. Or maybe it was like a Forza game or something like that. I don't remember. But
yeah.
there's like 2 different benchmark videos where one looks better than the other. But I think one of the things about the i7 is that it had lower usage than the i5 because it's got more cores. So like it didn't have to work as hard and stuff. And there were a bunch of games where it had an FPS advantage. So I'm pretty sure I'm going with the i7 at this point.
also like it's a lot like the AMD is great and fine and dandy, but like they are doing a lot of cores, and I think their clock speed's pretty good, but cores aren't that necessary for games, so it's mainly clock.
That's one of the things they were pointing out, is that newer games are starting to take advantage of the extra cores. So they were like, so in these games, these like Witcher 3, the Intel was doing better, but like in more recent games, they're taking advantage of the stuff that AMD's putting out. I was like, all right, I'm at some point you can't min max anymore. You just have to kind of pick something.
Yeah, my build wasn't even min max. I just looked at it and said, for the price, it seems pretty good. Right, I wasn't gonna spend like 500 hours on it. Like I was like,
Yeah.
They work together.
On some level, I do enjoy kind of the hunt and looking at prices and stuff.
Right.
And if I fuck up, it's not gonna be easy for me to go out and buy new parts to fix it. Like if I get something I'm not happy with it, I'm not gonna go out and drop another $200 to fix my mistake. So I do want to be careful and get something I'm gonna be happy with. But yeah, I think I'm kind of done now. My brain is kind of getting fried with examining stuff.
For me, a lot of this stuff is mainly like it's work again. So it's like more PC parts. All right, these look cool. That's the main thing I get out of it. I kind of have to use the bathroom.
Okay.
So I'm gonna perb. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm a little sad now that Bloodborne's not on PC, because you're making it look a lot more fun than I remember.
Yeah, and I'm having more fun than I remember. Plus, I'm doing better than I used to, so that might help. But at the same time, I failed a lot of Dark Souls and I had fun. So, but
Every time you pull off a successful like gun parry, it's like, oh, that was really satisfying.
Yeah.
Get to fuck them up.
Some of them I still don't understand. Like big guys, like are they parryable or am I just having bad timing?
Yeah. That one guy seemed like he was just impervious to bullets, and if you're gonna have, my ping is terrible. If you're gonna have bad guys that are impervious to bullets, it'd be nice if there was some kind of animation to let you know that, so like a sound effect or something, so that you don't keep wasting your bullets on them. Oh my god, it is driving through soup right now.
I don't know why. Everyone looks bad though. Look, there's dudes at 90 on the other team. Everyone on the other team's in 90s. So something's fucked. I almost saved that.
You did save it on my screen.
Really?
Ball started to move. And we don't have a teammate. This game is fucked.
This game is real fucked. Do you want to leave?
Yeah, let's just fuck out.
Yeah. Get out of here. Hopefully we don't get that server again or whatever happened.
It was pretty impressive how you managed to beat Gascon while looking at chat every once in a while. I know you were like, you'd like find a gravestone patch to hide behind before looking over, but still, that was... I've seen a lot of people fail that fight pretty badly.
I didn't realize I was multitasking like that. Like, I realized I was looking at chat, but I didn't realize it was... He did seem tough. He beat me the first time. But
what's tough is that that second stage, you just flew through the second stage like it was nothing. That was what was really impressive.
that one I had an easier time with than the first stage for some reason.
Yeah, you just like you parried him perfectly on the first try and just did a shitload of damage, and then it was just that was it for him. He was a goner.
Every once in a while,
Nailed that first parry.
every once in a while, I'm still hitting the triangle button for some reason. I don't know if it's like a Dark Souls thing or if it's just... Oh god, he bumped me. I didn't hit the ball, I hit him.
So, yeah, playing Dark Souls 3, triangle is the two-hand your weapon button.
Yeah.
And I keep doing that because of Monster Hunter, where triangle is obviously one of your attack buttons. I keep fucking that up.
Yeah, I remember once I was thinking of switching modes, and I hit triangle. So I was very like, oh, I know what I did there. It's because of Dark Souls. You know, the change mode button. Y is, or X, or triangle rather, and Y are my attacks in Monster Hunter. So
I made it through the water swamp area with the crabs. I managed to kill one of the... I killed like one crab and then was just kind of like, I'm done with the big crabs. I don't really feel like killing the other two. I don't know if I get anything else, but I just kind of ran past the other two big crabs and I killed the two guys. And now I'm in the real shitty poisony part of the swamp down below.
Yep.
Gotta have a poison area. It's a Dark Souls game.
Yeah, I love the boss there too. It's so good.
Yeah, so I've lit 2 of the 3 bonfire things that are the towers of fire that you gotta do. I haven't found the 3rd one yet, but I also haven't like looked yet. Oh
Yeah.
shit! I knew he would be here eventually.
Better late than never. Fashionably late. That's
Fascist late, more like.
You may be right.
Trains don't run on time.
They run on fuel.
I am I am known for my tyrannical leadership.
Yeah, you're maybe a
And
totalitarianism.
Yep.
That's a mild reference to a comment in that Gillette video.
I'm sure there's a few of those.
Oh boy.
So that Gillette video.
So I'll say that
Fuck.
aside from the fact that it was put out by a multi-billion-dollar company that tries to sell razors, and that's very weird,
Yeah.
and maybe it was a bit cringy at times, I mostly don't really have a problem with it.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it per se, but I like. Well, maybe I don't. Is it weird to say you like cringing at something? Is that a strange thing to say?
That's not
No.
weird.
Oh, I'm out of boost.
People like watching like
Cringe
really
compilations.
shitty B movies.
There's
People
cringe.
like watching people die too.
Yeah, like there's the and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, or like actually doing the killing yourself. Yeah, it's,
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's cringy. If you kill
Yeah.
someone in a really cringy way, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Yeah, like you meant to stab them in the heart, but you accidentally get them in the eyeball. That's kind of cringy.
Oh,
Right.
ooh.
You fart so much that they suffocate. You're like, oh, well, I feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you
it's just
say like
all right.
you say like a really corny line or something, and like, or like you meant to say something cool, but then you like fuck it up.
Stumble over your words.
You're like, now you're gonna get the
Ice
point.
To be, ice to be you.
Ice to be me. No,
Ice
fuck.
pick. You're like, that didn't make a lot of sense.
Boy, don't you wish you weren't dead.
I did enjoy watching all of the comments, though, or reading all of the comments about every single complaint that people had. Like, people went through and they actually counted, like, the number of men in the video, the number of white men in the video, what was their plot in the video, and they found out that there was, I could try to find the numbers, but, so there was something like, 20 guys in the video that were negative influences, and 19 of them were white, and 1 of them was black. And then there was like 5 guys that were positive influences, and 3 of them were black, and only 2 of them were white.
Those numbers don't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
I don't care at all.
Alright, that's
It's
fine.
it's one of the things that really pisses me off when it's like the black character in this show was poor, so the people who made this show think all black people are poor.
Yeah,
Like,
that's-
no, they made one character.
I mean, did you watch the interview by that producer? I mean, it's
It
not...
wasn't an interview that she was like doing like a
What,
speech.
whatever.
So I did
I'm-
watch that, yeah.
I
Was
mean, you
there
can
something
tell
in
that-
that I'm supposed to be like upset about?
No. It provides information on like her motivations for making that commercial, the kind of person that she is, why it was made
she
the way
said-
it was.
She said, well, she was talking about a different commercial than
Yes.
the Gillette one.
Yeah, but it gets
Because
an idea of
those
her
motivations
mentality.
can-
Yeah. I just wanted to point that out.
yeah,
Um,
they show the commercial at the end of the.
Yeah. I saw
speech.
it. So, she said something to the effect of like, that's why I wanted to work with women and instead of men. And she's like, I'm not just a director, I'm a female director.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you could take umbrage with that, but it doesn't really bother me.
I mean, it's just one of those things where, and another thing she said was like, oh, I wanted to make this diverse when,
Right.
their idea of diversity is if you have a commercial that's a 100% black people, that's diverse.
Sure, but neither one of her commercials were all one race. Both of her
No.
commercials that I've seen involved a lot of white people.
They
Yeah.
did. But the Gillette one involved mostly bad white people.
All right, but
I mean,
the message, like the narrator, didn't
Just
really
are you-
say much about race at all.
are you
No.
playing Rocket League
I'm
or
in
what?
the game.
I don't see you
Easy
online.
peasy.
In it says you're online but not playing Rocket League. That's why.
What? That is definitely incorrect, but whatever.
The narrator specifically said, "We believe in the best in men," to say the right thing. So it was very like, men can do better. Like, let's not just focus on the bad. Like, they can do things that are good.
Right, but that's good in their interpretation, and bad in their interpretation.
Wait,
It's
what?
the interpretation that people aren't. I think that people aren't okay with. Not so much that. I mean, yeah, anyone can be a better person. That's a fucking meaningless statement.
it was I mean it was virtue signaling, but
It definitely
like,
was.
but I don't think it's bad necessarily for a company to be like, you shouldn't sexually harass women.
Right,
like-
Yeah, it
but
was
it's
like, no-
patronizing.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it could be seen as men are doing things wrong and you need to do better, but it could also be seen as men should just improve, which I don't necessarily disagree with. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're doing something bad. It's just like the people that are doing this shit stop. It's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
felt this was presented in a much less accusatory and a much more supportive and productive manner than a lot of the SJW stuff that you see, where it's very like accusatory and derogatory and vilifies men. This was kind
Yeah.
of like, hey, men have been.
It's the same message, just delivered in a different way.
I think that's important. I think the
I
way the
don't.
message is delivered is huge.
I think the message was flawed to begin with.
The message from this was that, you know, it's a good idea not to bully and don't sexually harass people. I'm behind that. What is
It said
the
in such
message
a
that you don't agree with?
patronizing- I disagree with
The-
the patronizing manner in which it's said.
So now you're talking about the message, the
The-
way it's
the
delivered, not
tone.
message itself. Yeah.
Yeah, the tone, which is what we're talking about, that we think that it's not patronizing. That
You
like
don't?
not really.
I
like
think it's less patronizing and like less vilifying than what we normally see. I think it's a much bigger improvement. I also think it was cringy in a lot
Yeah.
of places.
I
But
feel
it's
it-
also tough to do a complicated message like that in a 2-minute video.
yeah.
I also just don't think it's really Gillette's place to be saying that. They're multi, you know.
Well,
Yeah, I
billion-dollar
started off by
company.
saying I thought it was weird that Gillette was
Yeah,
doing it, but I still agree with the message. Like, don't sexually harass, don't bully people.
the reason
Yeah,
why
did you need someone to tell you that?
some people do, but Again-
if you need to tell them that, telling them that's not going to change anything.
but again, this is a company doing a virtue signaling for PR bullshit. And also, their motivation behind it is because they started up we're donating, for every something, we're donating something to the Boys and Girls Club. Like, that's kind of the reason why they made this. Because if you go to their website, that's what it talks about. Oh, I was really hoping for that pitch.
So, I want to address. I've assumed you would go with the whole like, did you need that spelled out for you thing, and just because it's ineffective for some people doesn't mean that it like doesn't hold value. Like, I do think that if it gets people to talk about this kind of shit, then it could lead to people having discussions about sexual harassment and bullying. Like that whole boys will be boys thing, that felt very real. Of like, oh, he's beating up on some other kid in the neighborhood, but that's boys just like to roughhouse. But there's
I
a
also
difference
don't think
between
it's an
roughhousing and
accurate.
bullying.
I also don't think it's an accurate representation of what men actually do.
I think none of this is hashtag, or all of this is hashtag not all men. This is, if you do this, this is not good. The whole point of this is like, if you do this, this is bad. Not every man does this.
And the
Therefore,
video even
stop.
says, like, some men are like,
Okay,
fix
how
it.
many? Did we start releasing some of these videos for women too? Then?
Well, that's a separate issue.
I
That's
mean,
like,
yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's a comparable situation.
so like we can't support this video until there's one.
No,
for
I'm just
women?
asking. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying
I mean,
anything of the sort.
Of
If-
course, women have issues that they also need to work
If-
on. for
So
sure.
you would be okay with them, releasing videos about women like that?
why
Yes.
wouldn't I?
Okay.
If it pointed out problems that women have and that they need to work on, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. Like,
So why don't we see it then?
I think that's a grander issue than the commercial itself. Like,
I agree.
I think
but
that
this is where the conversation goes.
well, I don't think it's necessarily like it has to be a company's responsibility to release.
I don't either.
A thing
this is
for
a sociological
anything.
discussion now.
Well, where are they? I mean, you know where they are. I don't think
do.
that. I don't think that needs to be discussed because we know that the society, like, there's a lot of bias towards, against cis white male crap, right?
Yeah.
Like that happens. I don't really want to I don't care about that in this instance. Like, that's, again, Gillette isn't responsible for now making a video for every single demographic. They didn't even need to make this one, right?
I know you guys weren't really on board with the whole Gamergate thing, but it kind of reeks of that. Just someone attacking their fan base, not their fan base in this case, but their client base at least.
That video did not feel like an attack to me.
Yeah,
It did to me.
because the whole thing of the
I feel
video,
like you're reading into it that.
the message I get
Oh,
from
I
this
feel like-
video is, if you sexually harass women, don't do it. If you are a bully or you're letting people bully, don't do it. If like it's not, I did not get from this video whatsoever, every single man does this and you need to stop. Because adding this, you don't need to add this hashtag not all thing to every single one of your phrases.
It's not about that though. It's about the fact that they think it needs to be said in the first place, and that Gillette thinks that they're the ones that need to be saying it.
Let's pretend that it was not made by Gillette for a second, because I'm not really going to argue that. It's very strange to see a razor company doing this, and I don't see how they're doing it for anything other than trying to boost their PR, and they're a capitalistic company. So
They're doing a bad job though.
let's agree that part is weird, and let's table that and talk about the video itself. The video is, at its core, promoting that people not sexually harass and not bully. And there are so many ideologies and movements out there that are spreading like lies and bullshit ideas that I can't muster a whole lot of hatred for a video that has good intentions, even if it's doing them poorly. It's trying to spread a good message.
Can you give me an
much
example
better.
of one of those bad ones?
So like alt-right stuff, like white nationalist type stuff, anti-vax stuff, anything that's anti-science kind of thing.
Right.
So like that stuff, or I would even argue any kind of religious movement, all that stuff is way more dangerous than like someone might feel bad for seeing this video. Like who's gonna be hurt by this video?
Oh damn.
I mean, it doesn't hurt anyone. I'm not opposed to it coming out.
Because
I mean, the only one that's hurt so far is Gillette, honestly.
Because the first thing is you're like, oh, did you need to be told not to bully? And it's like, I'm not going to be mad because if this video is ineffective, that's way better than all the shit that actively spreads bullshit. Even if this one is ineffective, that's way, that's neutral compared to something that's actually bad.
Yeah, this could have a positive impact on other people, rather than being like negative to other people, right? Like at worst case scenario, it's neutral. Best case scenario, it impacted one person, right? It's not going to
making the argument that it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, bad is kind of nebulous here, anyways, because I've agreed that it's like kind of cringy and may not be like produced very well or whatever.
Yeah, just
But
like a negative impact on like people.
Yeah, like it's like is its core message good? Like it's like if a video came out and said, "Don't drink bleach because it'll kill you," and you're like, "Oh fuck this! What the fuck is this?" It's like, well, I mean, it's correct. Like I agree with its message not to drink bleach. Am I gonna get upset because it was cringy?
Yeah, I mean, Tide had to fucking release shit to say, "Don't eat our fucking Tide Pods." Like,
That was like
It's
an
not
actual
funny.
problem.
yeah, that was an actual problem, and people shouldn't be told this shit.
Yeah.
It's not about. Maybe it's not so much about the message they're trying to portray, more about the misconceptions that could be had.
Okay, so now you are arguing that it'll have a negative impact. So what is the negative impact that you think could come from this? That
I mean,
that, like men will
It
see
doesn't
it and
it doesn't really do much to change, the ever increasing misandry in our world.
all right. It's promoting anti-bullying and anti-sexual harassment.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
And in doing so, it's painting a very negative light.
How so?
Because I
What is
think
it?
that it really puts an undue onus on half the population.
I
Why
mean,
can't we just tell that to
would you say
everyone?
that,
You're right, I agree, it's a good message, but why do we only have to tell it to one group of people? Just tell that to everyone. That's a helpful message for everyone, isn't it?
Oh, I think there's been a lot of history of men misusing their power.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
the whole, like the Me Too movement has resulted in some like overreaching, I'm sure, but there's been plenty of cases where men in power used that power to their advantage. And
yes,
it's
just
just like, hey, let's stop doing that.
statistically speaking, women are negatively affected by sexual harassment, like way more than men. Right? Like that's.
But that doesn't mean that they aren't affected. I mean, 1 in 6 boys are sexually assaulted.
I mean, yeah, that's fine, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to, again, focus on like one of the main groups, right? Like,
So its biggest shortcoming being that it didn't reach wide, and it didn't cast a wide enough net, I guess.
I just feel like it's unfair to cast aspersions on one group if it's a positive message that could be applied to all groups. Why exclude that group? If it doesn't do them any harm by including them, why exclude them?
Because it's a 2-minute video, and they just had a narrower focus, I guess. I don't think it's
yeah,
trying to vilify men.
I mean, I don't, I mean, I would agree that it's more fair to have all the groups involved, but I also don't think it necessarily hurts that much if you don't involve all the groups. Tusk, Jesus. Especially when, again, that group's demographic is the main one that, performs such things.
I guess I looked at it as, I'm not sexually harassing anybody, I'm not bullying anybody, and this is a good message. So it kind of just rolled right off me. I honestly...
That's
Yeah.
the same kind of logic, though, where you're like, I'm not doing anything illegal, I'm not doing anything wrong, so it's fine if the government spies on me.
No, that is not the same.
That's not... yeah, that's not the same, because the government's doing an action of, like, invasion of privacy and stuff, potentially, and...
This is a PSA. If the PSA message was "Don't drink bleach," I'd watch and go, "Yeah, I'm already not drinking bleach." Or like those anti-cigarette ads where they show like a smoker who can't breathe and shit. I'm like, yeah, this PSA is doing nothing for me because I'm not a smoker, but I'm okay with it because there are smokers out there that this might help.
Yeah.
And if the main demographic of smokers was, like, men, and so they had a men-targeted smoking ad, I wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm like,
Right,
yeah, men need to stop smoking, or at least understand like that that's a bad thing.
And, like, when it comes to these ads, too, there's a lot of... There's, what is it? Seeing yourself in the other people, right? Especially if they, like, match your demographic, right? So, if it's going to influence potentially... If there's going to be tons of men in the video, right, it's going to potentially influence men more because, again, there's people that are like them in that video, aka there's men, right? If there's, like, a man's not going to be able to connect with it as much if they're saying, like, a woman needs to stop sexually harassing, right?
Sure.
It's going to be
And
more
I do
influential that
think
way.
a video about women harassment and like men being raped, I do think that would also make for a valid and constructive PSA type video, because a lot of people don't even think that men can be raped. They think that that's like a
Yeah.
joke.
Have you
So,
seen
yeah,
the
absolutely.
Have you seen the Venus Razor memes that have been coming out since the Gillette one happened?
No,
No, they're like parody
Yeah.
ones. That sounds really funny.
yeah, that sounds funny. I think here's another thing I think that's potentially influencing people in thinking the way that you are, Justin, with this video. for one, if you knew what the director and like
Oh, go get it! Go get it! Go get it!
how what her mentality is of all this, right? The fact that she's like, she seemed a little bit like biased towards women, but like,
yeah.
but again, from that video, like it didn't seem like she wanted to just kill men or anything like that.
No.
Yeah, she didn't seem
she didn't-
crazy.
Yeah, she didn't
I'm
seem
not
like a
saying she's
feminazi.
on the level of like the Scum Manifesto.
But she still seemed like she had a bias, and like I you know, when I saw it, I didn't know. I was just viewing it as if it was a commercial, right?
Yeah.
And then also like, so knowing her, like that could have a negative impact on your perception of it. But then also at the very beginning of the video, I don't think this was a good decision on their part. One of the first words you hear is toxic masculinity
Yeah.
from the news chatter that was happening. And like that's obviously a SJW buzzword that they like to use. And I don't think that helped them in their favor. Like, so, like,
I mean,
if,
maybe we'll use the word again, biased, because one of the first things you hear is toxic masculinity. So after that, you're just like, oh, here we go.
yeah, I heard it. I was like, ugh. But then I just kept watching. I'm like, well, they didn't like. To me, toxic. When people use the word toxic masculinity, they're over exaggerating stupid bullshit that isn't actually like bad, but they're blaming it on, oh, you're doing this thing.
Manspreading.
Yeah, manspreading, mansplaining, like all that shit.
Because I guess I have a different opinion. I have a different thing that springs to mind when I think of toxic masculinity. I don't think of petty bullshit that SJWs complain about. I think of like people actually being toxic, like suck it up,
Well-
bro. Just fucking walk it off, you pussy.
Well,
Kind of stuff.
I think of those things too, but I think of the ways that it's being misused, right? This term has like become the buzzword if somebody wants to misuse and blame masculinity as well. Because I know what you're talking about, the bro mentality of
Yeah,
like,
so you would agree that there is real toxic masculinity.
right.
That it would be great if we could get rid of that.
Yeah, but unfortunately the term has been used commonly in other ways as well to blame.
So if she's not talking about manspreading with that line, then you could agree that even that. would
I
be,
mean, if they
mostly harmless.
if they changed it to another word, then it wouldn't have potential negative connotations to it. So
Yeah, because it's like the word Nazi, basically. Like, even if that's actually what your movement is called, you probably, or what they actually are in terms of, political alignment, you probably shouldn't call yourself a Nazi.
yeah, there's words that people have been kind of abusing and misusing.
Because National Socialism is a real thing. It's not just...
Yeah.
It's not
Oh.
just the Germans.
Yeah. Overusing the word Nazi is huge. But then also, they showed that chick from the Young Turks in it.
Oh yeah, Anna
So,
Kasparian.
yeah, that didn't help him at all either. Because, fuck that lady. But, again, the message that she was saying, the only thing that she said while she was on the freaking screen was the words like...
The Me Too movement, I think.
No, I think she said sexual harassment and sexual assault. I think she said those words. She potentially said Me Too as well, but
Yeah, because I thought it was either that or it was like right on the heels of them talking about the Me Too movement.
yeah, they had
were
some
mostly
news
just
chatter
using
about
her-
that.
They were using her as like the intro sentence to sexual harassment is also something we want to tackle in this video. They weren't necessarily saying we agree with everything she says.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate though they used her because like all the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
news people I didn't recognize when
You
they.
say it's unfortunate, but it was calculated.
No, yeah, I know, but
It's not like it just happened.
I'm saying it's unfortunate for them to use that because it's now going to harm their message, right?
I
They
would
could
say
have.
misguided is probably a better word.
Sure, I'm saying it sucks. Like, that's what I mean.
And I agreed pretty early on that you could make a case that it was poorly made, that the video was poorly made. It was the message that's actually in the text that I agree with, because all of her other stuff, that's all you know, paratext. That's outside the argument that was made in the video.
Yeah.
They weren't making any of the videos. They weren't making any of the arguments that she might be associated with in this 2-minute clip.
And I
So-
didn't even know anything about her before watching this 2-minute clip and before
Yeah,
you
I
posted
didn't know.
it.
I didn't know her at all until I saw it.
So, like, I'm just consuming the thing as I interpret it. You know, I'm consuming it as an outsider that blind, like a blind playthrough. I think
in a vacuum, this video is probably mostly fine. I think you have to, like, there's a lot
In
of
a vacuum,
context.
I just find it cringy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I can see it as cringy. Yeah.
It's just your standard NPC stuff.
Which is why I would not devote a lot of emotion or attention to it. I get much more riled up about other things.
I
And, like, this
I mean,
is kind of.
I'm not even really riled up about the commercial. You know, every time I get riled up, it's because we keep leading back into the larger sociological problems.
I got riled up when I read a lot of the comments of the video because
I'm never buying a Gillette product again.
so I saw that a
I never
lot.
did in the first place, so.
I saw that and I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. But then people were saying stuff like, what, am I not supposed to have my masculinity anymore? And I'm like, the only thing they told you, the only thing they told you that you couldn't do in this video was like bully and sexually harass. Is that
tied to your masculinity?
Yeah, like what the fuck? The only couple of things that were like borderline like dumb, but I think again it was because of I guess the one main thing that was borderline could be interpreted bad was the kids were like roughhousing and shit, you know, the boys will be boys part. And they didn't look like they were really hurting each other, but the commercial isn't going to show the kids really hurting each other.
Yeah, that's just poor acting.
Yeah, that's just poor acting. But the message was like supposed to be, if these kids are fucking each other up. I just saw just like 1 or 2 days ago, that family of 5, where like they're recording their kids, where their kids were like beating the shit out of each other, and they were just like, hey, they're just kids, they're just having fun. And the kid one day's like, I don't want to get hurt for today's video.
They live in West Virginia. You can't count stuff coming out of West Virginia. That's basically a third world country.
Yeah, I can. I don't want the kids to get hurt. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, so suddenly this cringy PSA video that we think is not that great, now there's someone there, right there. All of West Virginia could use that video, I guess.
Yeah. They'd be like, shit, we didn't know you're not supposed to let your kids beat the shit out of your other kids.
Should we show it to Africa too?
You're adding this race element that was not present in the video.
I think.
It wasn't a racial statement. It was the fact that there's a lot of child abuse in Africa.
Yeah, they're a bit poor too. Like.
Yeah, so is West Virginia. What are you trying to say?
Yeah, it's.
Sure. I mean,
West Virginia
I
makes
don't
the
see
least
that.
amount of money per capita out of any state.
Okay.
They probably barely even have a capita,
That's true.
like Wyoming.
Do you not think this video could be helpful in Africa? Do you
Probably
not
more
think
so
that
than here, actually?
Sure. It doesn't devalue the commercial, but and its statements or anything. But
I think contextually it kind of devalues it because it's not like the message that they're saying is anything new to anyone who lives in America. I'm sure most people who live here that have seen that commercial have heard those messages many, many times.
sure, but I mean, the message doesn't lose its value. Just the target audience isn't impacted as much.
Yeah,
Right, contextually.
you keep attacking its effectiveness, but I'm really more worried about like the message itself.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
It's not just the effectiveness, it's also the delivery too. Because the core message, I mean, that's like saying don't murder people. Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not going to take attention with that.
It's
There's
virtue
way
signaling.
more-
It's
there are way more people that are okay with bullying and sexual harassment than there are people that are okay with murder. That is not analogous at all.
I
But-
think that that's not entirely true either,
There are
because
people that don't think they're being
yeah.
sexually harassing. when they are.
Okay.
I mean, but I mean, I think they're analogous in the way that they're things that you shouldn't be doing and shouldn't have to be told to people. But unfortunately, you do though, because there is a lot of people that do this shit. Like they show just guys catcalling women, and like that happens all the fucking time, and that's annoying as shit to them.
I've literally never seen it once.
Sure.
Besides in, like, movies and stuff.
Right. There's also a video of a lady who like
Walks
walked
around London and like had like
There's
3 people
remember there's one in
catcall her
New
in
York
like
City.
6 hours or something, or maybe
And-
that's what it was.
and she had
most of them were like Muslims.
and they like followed some of them, like a person followed her for a couple blocks, and she didn't like say a word to him, so she, like he left eventually. Even though she slowed down and sped up, he was still like following her, which is
Yeah.
again scary, like beyond annoying. It's scary as shit because you don't know what the guy's gonna do to you. It's
Self-defense is important.
yeah, it's not necessarily always possible.
No.
Yeah, and it's, you can
But you can
tell
increase your
women
chances.
tell women like you want to be able to defend yourself, but it's also should be the onus should also be on the attacker more than the victim.
Yeah, I mean,
Like we should be telling guys, hey, don't be a dick like that. She shouldn't
Well, yeah.
have to protect herself from you.
yeah, if you get tased, right, you're gonna have a hard time defending yourself, especially if you get, the guy just bam tased. You're gonna not much you can do.
No, that's
So-
fine. But as part of the conversation, you can't control for every single situation. So as part of the conversation, self-defense should be part of the equation.
Right, but
Sure.
but I mean, again,
But you were attacking the effectiveness of an ad that's trying to be anti-sexual
Oh, this is
harassment.
completely tangential to the commercial now.
yeah,
I'm
I
just
was
saying that like sexual harassment is like an issue right now. A bigger issue than like I feel like there's work to be done to convince people. Like most people, the convincing someone about murder is more of a fruitless endeavor than convincing people about sexual harassment, because a lot of people think it's just natural urges, leave them alone.
or again in their brain they're just like, oh, she wants me and she's not telling me, she's being playing hard to get and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
There's stupid
I
mentalities.
think there's actually people that you can convince to stop acting shitty compared to convincing someone not to murder.
yeah,
Is that because you're saying there's more of a gray area? I mean, it's not like someone's like, oh, I didn't know stabbing someone would murder them.
Yeah, I think it's like some people don't think of it as I'm sure a lot of people think sexual assault is wrong, but don't think of it what they're doing is as sexual assault.
Hmm.
Or sexual harassment is probably a better
harassment's
word there.
assault
But
is
again, I don't have a problem with the core message, though. We've been over this.
yeah.
Which is why I watched that 2-minute thing and was kind of like, all right, so what? Like, I don't really see a whole lot here that I care about. Mostly just a good intentions comes off a little cringy. And then I saw like huge dislike ratio. I was like, oh wow, people are actually mad about this.
I
Yeah,
mean,
could-
the
What
road to
matters?
hell is paved with good intentions, son, bro.
Okay, so what is the slippery slope? What is the
What-
hell that?
yeah,
this-
where's this
I mean,
going to hell?
everyone does things with good intentions. Even the Nazis did what they did with good intentions. What?
Right, but just
No,
because
I-
you do good intentions doesn't mean you have a bad one laying
Yeah,
behind.
Like I'm saying like a good. This has a good message as
The
well as intentions.
biggest
Okay.
the biggest problem, the biggest thing that's going to come out of this is they're using this campaign to spread a message, for one, for PR, and for two, because they're donating shit to the Boys and Girls Club. For one, that's nice of them. For two, it might be because of tax breaks. But who cares, man? Money's going to the Boys and Girls Club. I don't give a shit if their intentions for tax breaks. Like,
Yeah. Ultimately, it's nice that there's gonna be some money going to charity. There's no doubt about that.
I remember
Even if
reading.
it's
This is also tangent. You know what I'm trying to
tangential.
say. Yeah, but I've heard some pretty negative reports about the Boys and Girls Club too.
That sucks. The Salvation
I-
Army is like Jewish or something.
Yeah. So
like
the alt
deeply
writers really don't
religious?
like them.
So like, don't donate to them because they're like
Oh.
super religious.
yeah, they've done lobbying against like gay rights and shit, so I don't donate to them, unless it's like if it's not money, because I've donated cans of food to them before, because I'm pretty sure they're not
Yeah.
going to try to resell that.
Yeah.
Resell it to put those funds towards their lobbying efforts.
Yeah, but you know, if they had the jingle jangles in Christmas when they're outside the store, I'm not gonna throw money in their pot. Fuck you. The Kroger place near my house, the guy that was jingle jangling decided that he could use some money, so he took the pot that he was jingle jangling for.
Why'd you call it Kroger?
Because Sunbro doesn't necessarily know what a King Supers is.
Oh.
He might not
Yeah,
remember.
I had no problem with Kroger. I was
What
on
about,
board.
what about a Fred Meyer?
Is it
I don't know.
Kroger?
It's also Kroger.
Yeah, see, I don't know what it is unless you say Kroger.
Shit.
And also, you know, in case anyone's watching, which I doubt.
Yeah, who would listen to this shit show?
But yeah, I mean, like I said, the most thing I got riled up about was the fucking comments, man. Like the people, some people were trolling, but so many other people. I'm not ever gonna buy your product ever again. I can be the man that I want to be. You don't tell me what to do. It's like, fuck you. They're telling you not to be a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? They didn't tell you to stop drinking beer or like going out and fishing with your bros. Like this
Yeah,
was
it really felt like you would see that, and it seemed like I was like, did I see the wrong video? Was there one where they actually attacked masculinity itself? Because this one seemed to be like, this is a better, more a less aggressive, not even less aggressive. Like even that, like they're not like, oh fuck your football, and you're like you like wrestling because you're so toxic and masculine.
or like, you know, wearing boxer briefs, like, or wearing a shirt without underwear and shit. No, you're an idiot.
Like, if they come out with another video, it's in that same vein. Like, I can see why you think that the rest of that comes attached, but it wasn't in those 2 minutes, so I can't blame them for things that weren't in the video.
Yeah, if they came out with another video and they included stupid bullshit like
And manspreading and stuff like that.
manspreading or just anything that like dumb things that like again go fishing or just sitting around and watching NASCAR. Oh, you're wasting yourself away. Shit like that. You'd be like, well, no, okay,
Yeah,
like,
fuck you.
that's stupid.
It
Fuck
didn't
off.
feel like they were trying to redefine masculinity. It was really those two main points of bullying and sexual harassment, and
Yeah,
I'm all for that.
they did also do like the meeting one where there's a lady in a meeting and
Yeah,
guy
what
puts
she's
his-
trying to say.
yeah, what she's trying to say, which, you know, was trying to put that message that
Woo, that was sick.
there are tons of men out there that don't fucking take women seriously in business, which, you know, that's still the case in business, that people are biased against that shit. Like, you're a woman, what do you know? But
I
Man.
was so ready to get my pitchforks out. I wanted to hate this video, but it doesn't really have like enough teeth for me to care.
yeah, it was. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't like it either. Like, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like show that to Elijah to be like, yeah, this is gonna teach you how to be. It's kind of mostly just bland.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again if I had to. I wouldn't show it to people and be like, look at this bullshit, and I wouldn't show it to people to be like, look at how awesome this is.
I think the problem that most people had with it is that just the term masculinity in general has become such a charged one that people just don't like it when you bring it up at all.
Yeah, again, you know, I think
Mostly because whenever the term is brought up, it's either in a significantly positive or negative light. It's not very. There's not much middle ground in the conversation.
yeah, and again, they didn't use masculinity very much except for like when they
Well, I mean,
said toxic masculinity at the beginning in that news.
I would say the theme was the way people imagine or conduct themselves as far as masculinity is concerned. You know, boys will be boys sort of stuff. That's considered part of traditional masculinity.
I
Yeah,
remember them showing like a dude. I think he was like shirtless, and he was kind of like, yeah. So they did depict some like shorthand imagery of masculinity seen in a negative light, I guess.
but
But
I don't
really think the narrator carried a lot of the message there with how it's like we do believe in men. Right? It's like this is not a fuck men kind of video.
Yeah, and a lot of those like men attributes that they're showing, like again the shirt off shit, wasn't like this is bad. Like that wasn't ever the case that they're saying that those aspects of masculinity or even being proud in masculinity was a bad thing. It was,
Although I guess if you take that video as an attack on masculinity, I can see how you're looking at that imagery and being like, wow, they're really just shitting on men here.
yeah, I was like you, Sunbro, in this instance. I was ready to sink my teeth in and be like, yeah, fuck you, but
I was like, where's the Chris Ray gun for this one? When's that coming out? Is what I was thinking at first.
yeah.
Also, it's such short film, and I was very surprised it was 2 minutes. I was like, oh, you're not kidding. Short.
Why'd you call it a film?
Yeah.
To sound more prestigious or something, right? Like that's
Yeah. She's a director of movies
of
and
film.
films.
I made a
It was
2-minute
presented at the
commercial.
cinema.
I made a commercial.
It's a PSA, is what it is.
Yeah,
It's 100% a public service announcement.
but also a commercial. It's also trying to sell their
That's
brand.
true. Yeah, that's true. It starts and ends with like Gillette's logo, so it's very much trying to get you to like the Gillette brand.
Yeah, look at our PR. Aren't we
Which,
cool?
which good job with that. Like, let me be clear. I am 100% on board with some satirization and poking fun of this thing. Like it was not well made. And
Let
the
me put
fact
it
that
this way: I view this commercial the same way I view that whole Bully Hunter fiasco.
Oh, is that the one where they would like you would sign up for their service and like when you were being bullied, they would come in and kill the guy that was giving you a that was fucking hilarious.
Well, what do you see? How do you see them similar though? Like,
It's just like, yeah, it's a good message in that, you know, don't bully people, but it was presented in a really awful and cringy way.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I'd say Bully Hunters is like 10 times more cringy.
Bully Hunters is so
But
bad.
I see where you're going with that. Yeah.
It wasn't even artfully like done.
I mean,
Yeah,
not only was it not artfully done, but they straight up, you know, fabricated most of the footage.
Yeah.
God,
The disrespect. You got disrespected.
He loved that. He said yes.
That felt very White Knight as well. Like it felt like they were
Yeah.
coming in to save the girl, and I was just like, ugh, this is so slimy and dumb.
Yeah. Like you just who gives
It's
a
like
shit, just
we're
leave
gonna
the
get him
match.
back by murdering them in the video game. Like,
That-
whoa, his score's not gonna be so high now, but he'll think twice before being a dick.
The video game that you're already supposed to murder each other in. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Oops.
And then they put, you know, hashtag or bullyhunters.com. You've just been bully hunted.
Oh my god.
Like, oh wow, okay. Like if somebody dropped a random website like that, I just look at it and go, I'm not going to that. What?
That really sounds like.
You like that?
Oh
Boone?
my goodness! Thank you. Yes.
Dude.
No.
What? What does that mean?
No, it's just
What
I'm
does that
just
take you to?
I don't know. I just typed a random thing. I'm just
Okay.
saying, like, people. I just said, like, if somebody types a random URL in my game, I'm not gonna go to it.
Oh, okay.
And so I typed a random URL.
I'd
Man.
forgotten about that because of the.
So someone did that?
No, I said that about the bully hunter thing.
Oh.
Because I was saying how it sounded almost like an SNL skit, is where I was going. It sounds like a joke someone would make.
Like they drop that stupid URL in there when they bully hunt, and it's so dumb. Like no one's gonna go to that. Oh, I almost got it.
Hi, Jude. I really want to see if that takes you to something.
Yeah, I kind of want to see. Watch it be like porn, and I gotta get in trouble.
Damn, you roasted him.
Well, he just kind of sat there.
Well, things getting roasted usually just sit there.
Right. But also, the way it reminds me is because the whole bully hunter thing, that was an ad campaign by SteelSeries.
Florida man kidnaps scientist to make dog immortal.
What?
I typed it in.
Did you? I did. I didn't. I didn't get that.
Really?
Yeah, it says, "Oh, you've taken the wrong turn." Jued. Right? Yeah, I typed it right.
It took me to a picture, a picture of a man just like looks like he's like thinking of all of the wrong choices he's made in life.
Like,
Like
can you
going to
post
that
it in
link.
the like Twitch or Discord chat? Cause yeah, I just went there and it doesn't give me anything.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the URL's definitely like gallery/k0.
Oh. I need to change my title
weird.
to Salt Miner because I work at a salt factory now.
Imgur.com/HYUJED.
No, HJU.
Oh,
Easy.
damn.
That was close. That sucks.
UED. Yeah, oops, we couldn't find that page.
Man,
Oh, you know what? I think it reset me to the. I think it just reset me to like the home page of Imgur.
I figured.
Man, I was fucking ecstatic. I was like, of all the things, that was a pretty funny image too. Oh,
I- Oh,
Rip.
I figured this was gonna have some discussion, especially if you were gonna join there, Justin, because I figured you were gonna be a little bit more on the
I like to
Anti-
wrestle the jimmies.
SJW
I kind of
side.
thought you were gonna be on his side.
That's
yeah.
remember I told you I was like, you probably don't.
I know. I was like, oh shit. I guess I'm wrong when you threw that out there when I got on. I was like, well, damn, this is gonna be a
Oh, the
2-1.
problem is Ashen doesn't care about things enough.
I don't think that's fair.
Oh, what do you mean?
You
I
just
can't.
said, like with you weren't really on the whole Gamergate, ship either, because you're like, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I care about stuff. I watched it and I put the topic in there enough to talk about it. Like
Yeah.
I had a whole thing ready to.
And that's
Talk
one
about it.
topic, even if you. Well, Ash and I talk about shit all the time. Not that you would know.
Yeah, bitch.
Not that I would know.
Another part that like in this thing that I agree with in these videos, and this has nothing to do with like them being bad for whatever reason. It at the very beginning of the video it shows like an old Gillette ad, and it shows like the girl smooching on the dude's cheek, right? And the kids bust through the thing like, this isn't us anymore, basically, is their like, that was at the very beginning of the ad.
Oh yeah, when it showed one of their old ads, right?
Yeah, and the girl was kissing a dude on the cheek like, you're so hot because you use Gillette. And but yeah, the kids
Was
bust
that
through.
supposed to be that like this was bad and we're not doing this anymore?
Well, basically, I mean, the kids bust through it, right? The kids break through it as if
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this was the old us or whatever. And
Yeah, I thought that was part of the original ad. The kids busting through. I didn't think about it being like imagery.
oh yeah, it was. But I agree that like the whole. I don't like that sort of ad shit or that mentality in general. The you
But it's not
are.
hurting anyone.
I mean, one could potentially argue that because that sort of ad, the ad campaigns of you are sexy and women want you because you used this product turns into for people you are ugly and people won't want you if you don't have this product. And so people start looking at their own image and being self-conscious about their own image with all that. Women, a lot of women
Like
shit
women's
is like
magazines and shit.
that. Yeah, like so, but also besides that, because that's a little bit like that's a little nebulous. It's hard to like say how much that has an impact and stuff like that. The main thing is I just hate that sort of mentality of like I
The
got my
Axe body spray ones were the worst.
yeah.
There's like girls just like hanging all over the guy.
I got my dick wet, so therefore I'm a better person now, is kind of how I
Yeah.
see that. And I just hate that mentality in general. That's a personal preference, though.
It kind of feels like toxic masculinity to me when it's
Ye-
like, oh,
yeah.
you haven't gotten laid yet and you're already 14. It's like, wow, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, if you have that mentality and you are and you're keeping it to yourself, that's fine. But as soon as you like start degrading other people because of it, is how I
I
view the
mean-
toxic masculinity crap.
These guys
You
suck
could
at
you
their
could
job.
almost make that argument with the new commercial. You're like, because they're just assuming that you're doing all of these bad things.
I disagree.
I didn't say that like I'm not mad that they're like saying you assume these things. I don't like when people have this mentality that your dick being wet equals self-worth. I'm not talking about the assuming part or anything like that. Because my boss does this shit and it's annoying. Where he's just like, yeah, back in my day, you know, I was hanging out with a band and oh, I got with this band chick, man. She was hot. Oh my god. He does this shit all the time. And I'm like, I don't care.
It's stories like that.
What do I care? He does this all the fucking time, and you know that it's because you know that he's putting his self-worth into the fact that he got laid that day. Like, he does this shit all the fucking time. It's like, I don't care. This means nothing in general. Like, yeah, you had sex.
I mean, it's the basic rule of, organisms that want to reproduce.
Right. I think it's primitive and dumb. Tell me the other things that you've done that's, like, good.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that.
I'm not blaming a man for wanting to reproduce, but, that's not the point of sex most
It's
of
just
the
like
time for humans.
finding out like that being a good story for you that you want to like brag about is just kind of lame.
Yeah. And cringy, in my opinion. So it's I had another personal preference thing, I think. No. I was really confused though about the kids that busted through it. Busted through that ad at the beginning, and there was kids like running. in the video, and I'm like, why are these kids running through this house? Right? Why are these kids running through the thing? And then later in the video, there's these kids that are like bullying this one guy, and the dad runs, or the older guy runs up and like breaks him up, you know. And his son sees it, and his son's like, "Oh, that's what I should do," or whatever. Those kids that were running were chasing the kid getting bullied. I sat there. I was like, why are these kids running? What's the message here? I don't understand. So and there's some things that, you know, I hope that doesn't come out of it. Like, they show, goddamn, Summer, you have a lot of points in that match. They showed the cartoon at one point where the people were catcalling a girl, and then they showed that like sitcom where the guy was like howling over the girl's butt and then like grabbing it at some point.
They were like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, and while that was metaphorical to like, don't catcall women and don't sexually harass them, I hope what doesn't come out of this is people think that you shouldn't have these things in media, because media is something that's, you know, an exaggeration. That's fine. Like, also,
if that was like the dude's wife and she's like home cooking and he just kind of like comes up and grabs her ass, it's not a big deal unless she specifically doesn't want it. But again, you can have bad people in your TV show. Like, if that's the point of the TV show, is that the dude is a sexual assaulter, then that's fine, because it's fiction.
Even if it's for comedic purposes, right? Because, you know, that shit could be funny, especially how they portray it.
Right. Yeah, that was honestly, that was kind of a bad example, because there's a lot more that you can read into like a live performance of a TV show. That was just a strange thing to pick there.
I think it was a way to soften it up, though, for like, because they softened up the kids trying to bully or wrestling with each other, right? And so I think they didn't want it to seem like too bad. They don't want to show actual people like, I just got sexually assaulted, I am like horrific. The worst thing that they showed was the one kid crying to his mom, and kids kind of pushing each other around.
50s aesthetic on that, like because like that shit was a lot more prevalent back then and accepted back then. It was just the norm.
Yeah.
So it was also, I guess, partly like a look how far we've come already. At least that's how I took it. Whereas, and I guess it was cool how you took the live audience and went from showing them being okay with it in the 50s, and then like they showed it again later, and the audience looked very perturbed by the situation.
Yeah, I don't.
That was another time where I thought it was like, we've made progress already. Like, we're already moving in the right direction. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Hopefully, again, it doesn't get interpreted like we shouldn't have this in media. Look at these people; they're perturbed.
Yeah. But I guess that could also be my bias. I could be reading into that. What I already think is that we're moving in the right direction. We just got to keep moving in that direction.
Oh.
So maybe I'm accusing Justin of reading too much.
Yeah, I mean,
against it, and I'm reading too much for it.
Oh my God!
God damn!
Oh no! I mean, there is ways that you can interpret it differently. It's just, oh, I tried and it didn't do it. It just broke one at a time.
Oh,
I can't do anything about that.
That bullshit over on that side. It just kept breaking one at a time. They're hopping, but I think, besides it being cringy, all this aside, I think the person, for as much as symbolism and shit that they crammed into that video in a minute and a half or a minute 40, I think is pretty impressive.
They did get a good deal done. much to their downfall, it seems, as much as people hate it. And then there's another thing that's interesting to talk about, which is that people are saying that they were going in and deleting comments and like trying to manage the dislikes and stuff.
I
I
don't.
wouldn't put it past them.
I don't think you can manage dislikes.
You can if you're in contact with YouTube.
I don't think they were doing that though. I have had times where I was on a video that I liked, and it was a smaller video. I went back, and it didn't have like the highlighted that I liked it. But when I clicked like again, because there were so few likes, I saw the like button go up again as if I didn't like it. But it was still in my liked videos. So I liked it. I think it's just a YouTube display issue. Like,
Yeah,
But
I watched
YouTube
it.
has been caught red-handed manipulating those numbers.
sure, I think,
But the people in the comments section don't have proof of it right now. They're just
yeah,
Oh, no, no.
extrapolating. So it's possible, and the fact that they've done it before certainly means that it's possible that they did it again. But
and then people said they deleted my comment, but like, how do they know? Like, did they have?
Pro
Here's a
Jared just went through my line at Target. Holy shit!
Who? What?
Angel! In the pics section
What?
of our Discord. Holy shit!
Wow, that's neat.
Wait, do we know where he lives now? He lives in... Wait, I probably shouldn't say that.
That's sick.
He does look very tired.
It's in.
Oh my god! No!
I tried to come in too for that.
I got another shot.
I'm gonna.
Nice.
Tell him to promote my Twitch.
Wait. So did she get an autograph or what?
She got a picture with him.
I got a picture. That's about as good as it gets these days.
Yeah. No. Oh no.
Yeah, it's
Oh. He's long gone by now.
Oh yeah, I know. It's just a joke.
That is crazy.
I don't think he's ever released where he lives, has he?
I think he may have. I don't know. That's sick.
Derailed our conversation a bit. We were talking about the comments.
We're in a match, by the way.
The likes and dislikes. I watched a video about that one time about how inaccurate that's going to be, because like how hard it is to correlate all that shit, and you're not necessarily getting up-to-date numbers on that when you log in. So people
That's-
could just be seeing.
Well, no,
Those
like
numbers go
YouTube
up
has
and
straight
down.
removed videos and then
I
had their
get it, I
statistics
get it.
restarted.
But that's
all I'm
removing the
saying is
video to get the statistics restarted. That's not manually going in and removing dislikes. Also,
No.
why would they remove like a few dislikes but still keep it at a 1 to 2.5 ratio like it was at? You know what I mean?
One word for you, at least what the internet thinks anyway. Goyim.
Who?
Goyim.
What does that mean?
It's a non-Jewish person in Hebrew.
What
I
is that?
believe.
What the fuck are you?
Because people are anti-Semitic.
Oh,
They think
How
that the
does- how
Jews
does that
control all the. That's why there's a conspiracy around it. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
that's what those people are saying.
that's
He was asking
completely
why
Right, I'm just saying that's why they say it.
Okay.
He was asking why remove some dislikes, but not like enough to make it.
Oh, I don't
more
know,
likes than
because it's a
dislikes.
conspiracy theory. It doesn't need to make sense. It just needs to fit a narrative.
I thought
it's-
you were on board with them deleting dislikes. I thought you,
So-
you
No.
thought that was legit.
I didn't say that. I was just explaining it.
What's up, Virus? How you doing? Thanks for the host, buddy.
I was simply
Every
providing an
time I-
explanation that it's possible. I wasn't saying that I believe that they're doing it.
Yeah, I
What I was
really.
saying is that like the numbers go up and down so much that it would be very difficult to tell if YouTube was actually. It is difficult to tell between the difference of like the server updating and whether they're actually manipulating it. But
Sure.
when what people see as like the server updating could look like dislikes being removed, and then once somebody buys into it, then like the rest of them buy into it as well, and then it becomes then
Yeah.
they start looking for it, and then confirmation bias, because whenever they see the dislikes go down, the confirmation bias kind of thing, and then you saying, well, they've done it before, you know, that just
Oh,
leads
I was
into
just saying that it's
Oh
possible.
no.
That's
But
all I was saying.
but what you said with doing it before was the fact that they had a whole video removed to restart it, not remove individual.
That's only the instance I've seen, but I've heard about it before.
Which isn't the case now. Plus, also them removing comments. For one, you can remove comments. Who gives a shit?
And
That's
for
what-
two, that's actually the default state for a lot of YouTube is removing comments, because a lot of them are actually text filtered for. I don't
Yeah,
know
there's
what you
text.
call it.
There's text filtered. There's also like they get put in. Some of them get put into a spam. Like there is a likely
Yeah.
spam thing where they don't get posted. Like I have a likely spam thing where a couple people have posted shit. Like come check out my YouTube channel. They posted on like 3 of my videos. And it's like, well, fuck you. Like
I was kind of surprised the comments weren't disabled. Like now you have a
Yeah.
real thing to complain about.
But
But
even-
I can't be sure that they were deleting comments.
even then, I mean, it's their video. I don't give a shit. Like disable your comments all you want.
I disagree with it.
I don't-
don't want them to do that, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it would be a real shitty thing.
I don't want them to like. I rather them. Okay, I saved it.
Hello.
I want them to have like always have comments enabled, but if it's a feature and somebody fucking wants it, I'm not gonna blame them.
I am gonna think less of them for it though.
Yeah, I would complain about it. Is the thing is I'd be like, they're being real shitty by not letting people comment. Sure, it's within their right, but I'd complain. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, I could see that. Like it's a little bad. It's mainly on YouTube the fact that they allow such a thing. But also I understand because people get real.
It oftentimes is a signifier of someone being duplicitous. They don't want anyone fact checking them.
Yeah, or
They're just not allowing
Lot.
any discussions.
logic checking them.
So, but again, that could also
Hello?
be some serious confirmation bias there. Of people being like, I saw this comment was deleted and it was negative. Like, all right, well maybe it's because it was negative, or like people are like straight reposting comments they saw other people post. Like, so and so posted this, so I'm, retyping their comment. It's like, well, yours hasn't been taken down for like a long time, so maybe it wasn't the content, maybe it was something else.
There was like 200,000 comments on the video too. What the fuck do you want? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Were you gonna like refine? Did you actually go into your YouTube thing and try to find your comment from your account, or did you just go into the video and then look and be like, oh, where's my comment? Well, I don't see it in this list of 200,000.
I don't see a comment I saw earlier. I don't see someone else's comment
Yeah,
that I
like-
saw earlier that was negative, so that must have been deleted. I mean, that might be what people are doing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's up to you.
It's-
How you doing, man? Unfortunately, it's my short day, so you came here near the end, but I hope you're doing well.
God damn, you did. Chiyu, you have a knack for that.
It's because he wakes up at a certain time for his work. You can't blame him that much. Life and whatnot. Freaking
I always feel bad because, like, right when you're leaving for work is like, I can finally rest and go to sleep now. It's like, oh, poor Chiu's gotta.
Yeah.
He's just starting the pain.
Fuck.
You say you work at a salt place now, Justin?
Salt factory. Oops.
Is it? Is
Oh,
that the? Is that the gluten-free salt place?
I
Yeah,
mean, all
is
salt's gluten free, but yeah.
is it GMO free too, Justin?
I mean, it's not an organic compound, so yes.
No. But is
I
it
was trying to.
okay?
I was trying to do the callback. What did the guy say? Gluten or did he say GMO? I can't
It
remember.
was GMO.
Oh, okay.
The guy here at your the spice factory before, Justin.
Oh, they wanted organic salt, is what they wanted.
Oh, organic. Oh,
Organic. Okay.
really? I thought it was GMO free. Whatever the case.
I was trying to reference that.
Oh,
No,
I want
that
to.
was just some random customer. I don't.
Oh, I want to solidify something. Sumbro didn't remember your position on organic food. Do you think it's bullshit or it's fine?
Think it's bullshit.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, why would you want organic food?
Well, that was the point. Is that I watched a video where they talked about organic food and how it wasn't necessarily any better for the environment or for you. And
No, in
because
some
I
cases it's
thought,
worse.
yeah, exactly. And I thought I was gonna get pushback either from Ashton or you because that Netflix documentary that fuck, I don't remember the name of it. The one where they talked about like keto and stuff like that. That one was pushing organic, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought you were behind that
I
particular.
mean, you can be
push.
right about one thing with you know.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I thought you agreed with that part as well.
No.
Okay. Well, then
Gotta-
there's nothing to talk about then.
You got to work in the workshop today where it's way too warm. That sucks.
Doesn't he work at night?
No, he lives in Germany,
Oh.
so that sucks, man.
Well, at
Where-
least it's January. That's the month it is.
But he lives in Germany, so the months are reversed, right?
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Yeah,
You have
organic.
Christmas in July.
Yeah, and it snows in July in Germany. I hear.
Yeah.
Organic is just a way to slap another $5 on it. Yeah,
Pretty much.
really. It's the feel good tax is what makes you feel
I
good.
mean, if you want something that's pesticide free, well, don't buy organic. If you want something that they don't use, fertilizer, well, don't buy organic. If you want something that's not made in a factory, well, don't buy organic.
But what if I have more money to spend?
And you just want it, then you can do what you want, Sombra. That's your prerogative.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't endorse the continuation of a market which literally just exists to swindle you out of money, but you can do what you want.
But he's such a nice young man. I wanna help him out.
Oh, bless his heart.
Bless his heart. My grandmother will not buy anything unless it's organic.
Well, that's because she's wrong.
Oh, I know. I've been on that train for years and years and years, but
Have you told her that, scientists agree with what you're saying?
she's not super interested in
Science?
Facts.
in any of that. So. She buys a whole bunch of shit from like those like supplement stores, places that are not legit at all, or they can just put whatever the
You
fuck
mean
they
like
want.
the homeopathy ones?
Yeah,
No, not
kinda.
that bad, but just like the ones that aren't regulated by the FDA whatsoever, and they can just put whatever the fuck they want and be like, this is gonna help you lose weight, or
I mean, not everything that's not regulated by the FDA isn't effective. Some things are just awaiting FDA clearance.
Right, but
sure, but
they
I'm
haven't-
not gonna put my faith in it until it's been cleared.
I
they
mean, I
haven't.
don't trust the FDA. They're part of the organic organization.
All right, but at least it has to go through some trials before it can be certified, right?
No. They just look at a paper trail. They just assume that the company's doing it right, more or less.
It still makes me feel better than something that hasn't been certified.
All right. Because we've had the FDA, not at the salt factory, but when I worked at the spice factory, they've gone through our facility multiple times, and it was mostly for the organic certification. But they just come in, they look at some of your paperwork, and they're like, okay, have fun.
I think, regardless of the FDA, these things aren't scientifically proven to do anything.
If you want something that's actually, if you want an organization that actually like checks for quality products, you have to go to the private sector, like SQF.
Pretty sure they can't bring a drug to the market without doing some clinical trials. Like,
I'm
I
pretty sure
understand
they-
that you've got.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they can. I would trust a private organization more than I would the FDA. The FDA doesn't do shit. I mean, the FDA is the organization that let oxycodons go through. There's no reason for that drug to exist.
Fair enough.
There's plenty of other painkillers that aren't nearly as addictive.
Like the dulcet tones of my voice.
Yeah.
No,
But
wait, that's pretty
Would
addictive.
Would you say the FDA has never like prevented a bad drug from hitting the market?
I mean, if they did, it was incidental. It was not by design of the organization.
I guess I'd have to look into it to really argue you on that one.
I thought I saved a goal there. I was wrong.
It's a puck. You didn't save anything.
You're right.
Whatever the case, a lot of those pills and stuff, they literally just like, yeah, this thing works because we say so.
And they can lie about the actual ingredients that are in it.
I watched
And
a
the FDA is not going to stop them. The FDA doesn't actually check any of that stuff. They just look at your C of A's and they're like, okay, looks good to me.
fuck.
The FDA doesn't actually go in there and test any of your products.
Sure. Regardless, again, there's not necessarily scientific proof that these products at these vitamin college places, vitamin cottage places work.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm just saying stuff that is FDA approved really doesn't have much more certification.
Sure.
It's gone through a formality.
I would need to see some evidence on that, but you might be right. I don't
But-
know enough to say you're wrong.
That wasn't the point of what we were talking about. The point is the people putting their faith in these products that haven't necessarily been scientifically tested.
Just like she puts her faith in organic food, because we were talking about my grandmother.
Which is part of the FDA.
Goodbye. Yeah, she is part of the FDA, yeah. How did you know?
I've worked in the spice industry, I know.
Wow, just like once you're in that industry, everyone knows each other.
I mean, it's a pretty small industry.
Do you know Bill at the FDA?
Yeah.
Bill Jameson?
That's my grandmother, Bill Jameson.
Yeah. Who's also your grandmother. It's crazy, man.
Bill Lena. God damn it.
There's also, again, the gluten thing. The gluten thing is pretty nuts. Gluten intolerance. And
My
People's-
grandmother also thinks that like she needs to be drinking a glass of wine every day for the antioxidants and shit like that, and dark chocolate, all that.
She doesn't even know what antioxidants are, does she?
No, no, she-
No, but they said it was bad, and the oxidants are bad, and therefore I need an anti.
yeah.
I mean, you realize minerals are oxidants, right?
No, Justin, but I need antioxidants though. 'cause-
Yeah, we gotta kill the minerals then.
Yeah,
Get antied.
Yeah, you're right.
they're like antibiotics. They make it so the minerals are no longer alive.
Wait.
There's still a lot of people that believe in the gluten intolerance
See-
thing. It's pretty nuts.
Now, you see, the thing about antioxidants is they're actually correct in their assertion, but they're wrong in their application. Antioxidants do remove things like free radicals from your body, but it's a lot like
build that wall.
It's a lot like submerging a car in gasoline to try to fill the gas tank. You're going to be taking out a lot of other stuff as well.
I'm not taking anything out when I submerge my car in gasoline, and
It's a shotgun effect.
I usually keep everything in there, you know.
No.
A friend from school had celiac disease and lactose intolerance. See, celiac disease is completely
real.
different from lactose intolerance.
It's
Or
actually
not
scientifically
lactose.
provable. If you look at
Yeah.
someone's intestinal tract, I forget what they're called, but they'll have like what do they call them? So there's
Feelers.
like these little fibers that stick out from your intestines to help you absorb nutrients. If you have celiac disease, those fibers are damaged.
Yeah.
And so when you have gluten, it actually clogs your intestines, and you actually can't absorb nutrients.
Ha! Get fucked.
And it also, some people get like rashes and shit from it, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know
Because
how
you
the
start
rashes
becoming-
work.
Because you start becoming deficient in vitamins, and so it starts causing rashes because you're not absorbing anything.
Lactose intolerance is also something that's potentially provable, but gluten intolerance specifically is usually when people self-diagnose themselves, or one day they eat a piece of bread, the next day their intestines don't feel good, and the news told them that if their intestines don't feel good, it may have been because of gluten, because of some shitty study that happened, and therefore they self-diagnose themselves with a gluten intolerance, when literally maybe their bowels just had a fuck up one day, because we're humans and that shit happens.
Yeah, I mean,
Literally.
I'm willing to admit that maybe there's something to the gluten intolerance argument, because proteins do have, a lot of proteins do have the potential to mess up your digestive tract.
What
The,
the fuck was that?
But
The
there's,
guy,
there's a lot of proteins besides gluten that people eat on a regular basis.
yeah, and the guy who did the original gluten study that sparked all of this, that the news took out of proportion, he did another gluten study after this that was a I don't know what you call it, but basically regulated people's diets and gave people a gluten-free diet, but told them there was tons of gluten in it, and the people had a nocebo effect where they reported more digestive issues on the diet.
People actually very much underestimate how much their mental state affects their diet.
Yeah. And
Or not their diet, the way they feel, like the way the rest of their body feels.
And that same doctor was just like, yeah, there you go, guys. Stop taking my gluten thing out of proportion. Of course, the news didn't sensationalize that because they don't.
That's not as exciting.
That's not as
Doctor
exciting.
warns that you don't have a whole lot to worry about, and you're gonna be okay. Doesn't exactly push newspapers.
Doctor warns you're too worried about shit.
A doctor's study. Yeah,
Says
placebo.
stop
yeah.
getting all your information from the headlines of
Yeah.
articles.
And when they say this one cup of blank may do this, it's like, come on,
Yeah.
no, because people are gonna extrapolate that to it is then.
You know that guy from IGN, Colin Moriarty, was diagnosed with like a gluten intolerance and like stopped eating bread and stopped like drinking whiskey that he really liked and shit like that. And he was like real sad about it. And then he went back a couple months later and was like, "Oh no, we misdiagnosed you. It's something completely different. You can go back to eating bread and shit."
Oh my god, that slipped right above me. Fucking puck.
It's like, it's like, God damn it! I had to give up pretzels and bread and all this good shit for months. He was real
Yeah.
mad.
Doctors have also been misdiagnosing it because they heard it was potentially a thing. So there was doctors out there that were just like, "Oh, you're having stomach issues? Have you been eating bread?"
Doctors still also support the food pyramid, so
Yeah, some of them. Not.
Yeah, that's why I don't listen to those anti-schmancy doctors. What the fuck do they know?
Yeah.
I listen to other doctors.
This is why it's good to get potential second
from
opinions
people in
on.
the field.
Yeah, but that's not cost
I'll
effective
just give
always.
my own opinion. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm the right opinion. Like that.
Did you watch that video about Tobuscus?
Yeah, I've been like watching a lot of his videos.
He's got a really he's really good at how should I say it? Making something that I didn't think would be interesting.
Yeah, he had a lot of like especially like people's mental states in YouTube, and he seems pretty reasonable about it and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this person's doing this thing, and he's not like automatically accusing people of malice or that they're like mentally unstable or some shit. He's not accusing them of some headline bullshit. He's just like, well, here's how this shit works.
I kind of hoped that the Tobuscus video was going to talk more about the accusations and like some of the evidence and stuff for that, but it was primarily a video about like his rise to fame, and that part was like kind of very small at the end. So that was the stuff I didn't know a lot about, was the accusations and like his response to it and all that stuff.
I think he covered it enough. There really wasn't that much to it.
Yeah, there really wasn't. There was a girl. She, according to people that, like, other girlfriends that knew this girl, like, she got real jealous that Tobuscus, like, wasn't going out with her and, like, going out with other people and shit. And so she had potentially a bias towards doing something.
She had a motive for lying. Then.
Yeah, motive. That's the word.
But wasn't there... Didn't he show, like, another lady that accused him of shit?
You know how the Me Too movement works.
I don't know. I only heard the one girl. I heard other girls say that he was a shitty boyfriend, but he didn't like rape me. Like he just wasn't that nice.
So now, when you say you know how the Me Too movement works, you're saying women lie because they want the attention? Is that where you're going with that?
Some of them. Hashtag not all.
I guess that's possible. As well.
The thing about this thing was there's no substantial evidence towards this girl doing these things, or Tobuscus doing these things. There's no like they didn't have any. She literally just accused him, and like, but she was also still being like friendly with him a lot and stuff, like all the time, trying to get like his attention and like trying to do a lot of this stuff. And I was like, would you try to do that when you said a guy raped you? Like, would you be still trying to hang out with him the next day? And like it just seemed real fishy.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was interesting telling why Tobuscus isn't gonna come back potentially as a good YouTuber anymore.
Yeah, because I think he focused on the video in the right way, because I really do think most of his fall from grace isn't because of the accusations. While those certainly didn't help, I think there were a lot of other big factors at play.
Potentially, I think, maybe if he would have stayed doing it, he could have evolved his, media and stuff like that, but because he had a break, right? He had a break, and he kept uploading irregularly, he didn't change with the media, right?
On top of that, it's kind of what he went over as well. It wasn't necessarily the fact that it was sexual assault specifically, but just the fact that no one really knew who he was. And now all of a sudden we heard something about him, and it's something negative. And so that's the only personal aspect of Tobuscus we know now.
Yeah, he was very like he was impersonal with a lot of stuff too. He wasn't like he was fake all the time.
Wait. Did you just stop that from going in?
No.
I don't think so. Yeah, he had his electricity in the net. Like, I don't... That's a quick one.
I don't know how that didn't go in. It was all the way in on my screen. Anyway.
I watched his video today about this online therapy thing.
Oh, the BetterHelp?
BetterHelp, yeah, that was it.
I haven't watched that one yet just because I've already seen so much about that.
Didn't I send you a link to that one time, Ashton? Or something similar? It was like online therapy.
You sent me something to try to help somebody out, I thought, saying, hey, here's some online therapy.
I was like, I specifically said I don't know anything about this, whether it's good or not, but it might be worth looking into.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly what place, and I said, I don't know, it looks kind of fine. But, no, this was like...
I don't...
This place was like... On their website, they're like, oh yeah, we're have these statistics of being proven to be effective, right? And wow, we have these statistics that prove that we're effective. We're 98% effective, and then when you look at the studies,
Have we enough spikes?
when they looked at the studies were like really bad. Like one of them, the lady was like, they seemed to be in cahoots with like the company, the lady that headed the research, like buddies with the people in the company. That one of them, there was like only 47 people that they thing, and they're like, yeah, we have a 98% happiness or like success rate or whatever. It's like, yeah, only one person out of your 47. It was. And he talked about how it was a bad idea for these YouTubers to be supporting this mental health company that haven't really proven themselves and like don't have trust and stuff.
Yeah.
Because while you could prove you could like promote a product and like the product might be a little crap or something. It's like whatever, but this is like affecting people's health and like it's not cheap either. These sessions could be huge.
Somebody buys a shit mattress, they're out, hundreds of dollars. But if you send them to go get mental therapy, that's real messed up. That could actually like fuck them up.
Yeah, and they didn't have a good vetting process apparently for their. Fuck! I thought I had that for the people that they had. So it was. Also, it seemed a little bad because they, these YouTubers are potentially making a cut of money off of this. So essentially, they're profiting off of people's mental health. That was a big thing that people were a little sketch about. And like Philip DeFranco,
They also were kind of a
weird thing.
pyramid scheme now that you bring up Philip DeFranco, and he was profiting from other YouTubers signing up.
I don't know if he was profiting, but they were talking with him and getting him to like other connections and shit like that. So there was probably some sort of benefit that Philip was making
Kickback
off
at
of it.
least.
Yeah.
Even if it's not monetary.
So yeah, it was very, very bad.
Sounds pretty slimy.
Very, very interesting analyses of these things that aren't just like slam pieces, right? They're not like fuck these people and what they do. He was actually like breaking it down and like DJ Enzyme,
Word.
Rumble idiot. We got someone in chat called Certified Moron.
Yeah, he's
Not
becoming.
tonight, but
Oh, I forgot. I left my profile on. My bad.
I got confused there for a second. Justin. I was
Oh.
like, wait, like your alt-right account?
Yeah.
Actually, I probably should say that John Twitch might take it seriously.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just
would you
Frivolous.
disavow the alt-right?
not every aspect of it, but the white nationalism, sure.
I hope John Twitch finds that a satisfying answer.
Yeah. It's not my channel, John Twitch.
I mean,
But yeah, I know what you mean, Justin. You can't throw out an entire everything about a ideology. Like if they said that we shouldn't murder people, I would happen
Be like,
to
yeah.
agree with that.
Well, Hitler liked art, so we can't
that's
have
true.
art anymore.
Did he have a
Wow.
pet of any sort?
I heard he had a dog.
Yeah, dogs.
Oh, anyone who's
One.
Hitler owned a dog. I'm looking at you, dog people.
Oh,
Ba-
Ashton, he had facial hair, so I'm
Oh.
gonna have to go ahead and ban you
Oh no.
for
Yeah,
having facial.
yeah, ban everyone, Chiyu. You get a ban. You get a ban.
But to be clear, the white nationalist stuff and any of the racist shit, we're gonna go ahead and
Yeah, we're
100% disavow that part.
yeah we're gonna say that.
And the shitty haircuts. We're gonna disavow
Ooh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ban haircuts. All of them. I froze it and I couldn't even predict my freeze. It was going so fast, I was predicting its
I
trajectory.
don't
not the
think I
freeze.
agree with them politically either. Like, even if you take away the white national stuff, I'm not sure as much I agree with.
I mean, I'm all for dismantling the government, so if they're down for that, I'm down for that.
Dismantling the government entirely?
I mean, I understand that there are
Reducing its
situations.
scope?
Yes.
The mouthwash?
It's become quite a tumorous, malignant growth that needs some culling.
Well, that would, that's too broad for me to agree or disagree with. It would,
I mean, did you know that America didn't even have
an
income tax before World War One?
Yeah.
Is that so? Well,
Yeah.
It's also much different.
Income tax was implemented as a wartime tax, and then it just never went away. Once
Also,
you
like, way
establish a
more people
government
now.
program, it never goes away.
There's
Power
a-
in the government is a one-way street.
there's a very deep conversation that we've already had
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
I'm 25 minutes over, so
We're not going
we
to
can
see eye
do
to
that
eye.
next time.
All right.
Uh.
Well, we'll do it in like 3 months.
We're on tomorrow.
Sounds about right.
But yeah. I guess
I was gonna look up if Pro Jared has his address, like if he has a PO box or anything.